So, welcome to the Riser Virtual Cheese Awards 2025, showcasing the very best of British cheese. My name's Cara, and I'm going to be moderating this session, which is J2, artisan cheese made from farm's own herd, and it is goat's milk. I am joined today to judge this session by the very wonderful dynamic duo of Mr. Crafty and Mr. Number Two, who I will let introduce themselves to you and the reason why we've chosen them as our judges for the Virtual Cheese Awards. Over to you, Jonathan.
So I'm Jonathan Piercy, and I have a business called The Crafty Cheese Man, which is focused on selling British and Irish artisan cheese to the hospitality industry. I also get the opportunity to judge at numerous different cheese awards with the wonderful Cara and James, and I'm very fortunate to be judging today with these two wonderful people. Although I'm sure by the end of it, Cara won't say she's been very fortunate, but we'll soon find out.
Over to you, Mr. James.
Hi there, so I'm James Grant, also known as the Bucks Cheese Guy and founder of The Real Cheese Project from number 2 Pound Street Deli in Wendover, Buckinghamshire, the Chiltern Hills, British and Irish cheeses. I'm super proud to be here today judging at the Virtual Cheese Awards to judge for all of these amazing cheesemakers that we love so much. What a privilege, what an honor, what a joy. I love cheese. Thank you for having me.
I'm going to move swiftly on. So for the audience, the judges will be using a point system for scoring against 4 different attributes: appearance, aroma, texture, and most importantly, flavour. The winning cheese will be the cheese that has the most points, and we'll go through and forward to the best of category stage finals on Tuesday, the 10th of June. We're going to start today with cheese J21054. James is very kindly holding it up to his camera and Jonathan to his. Thank you, guys. Let's make a start.
So on the look of this cheese, it's got some vermiculation on the outside. Styles of cheese like this I've seen in the past have a lot more vermiculation. What that means, the brain-like network on the outside, which is a mycelium that's engendered by the yeast as it's funneling and tunneling away on the outside of this incredible cheese. This sadly only has a small amount of it on certain areas, and if you look at the bottom there, how there's nothing happening on that side, but if you look at the top there as well, there seems to be not a lot of that action that's happened so far, which will then make me think that this is incredibly fresh, young goat's cheese, which also excites me because I think I'm going to get that really lovely, bright, goaty, fresh glass of milk, freshness, yogurty, citrusy note at the same time. Hopefully a bit of yeastiness from the rind, but I don't think it's going to be packing that much of a punch from the rind as a result of the age of this cheese. There we go.
And the appearance of the inside when you cut into it, beautiful white, kind of what you'd expect, that almost sort of firm, moussey look to it, and quite a smooth cheese. Like James said, you'd imagine it's quite a young cheese from the texture, which again is a great. It could be a great thing because that sort of young freshness is fantastic in goat's milk cheeses. So I think I think aroma wise, you get a nice little bit of something on the rind on the outside. Not too strong, but it's still got a nice bit there, I'd say. And then it's got that sort of freshness to it, a bit of milkiness, almost a tiny bit biscuity, I'd say, from a smell point of view. Like James said, that light yeastiness. And again, on the inside, you get a lot of that yogurty smell, that really like fresh, lactic, yogurty smell up my nose.
So on the nose, I get the kind of the break of a digested biscuit note, as you said, brioche, biscuity, slightly on the rind. On the interior, I'm getting a very clean, beautifully moussey mouthfeel. As far as the flavor punch is concerned, up front to begin with, it's got a slight brightness and nice goatiness. although it becomes quite savoury again and drops off, and doesn't deliver it to the same extent as a cheese of this youthful nature would, I would imagine, deliver. The milk's not quite, the paste isn't quite there for me on this cheese.
No, I agree. I feel like there's a low level sourness to it with that savouriness as well, but it's all quite muted. There's not much, as much as you can taste these flavors. I just feel like I'd expect it to be a little bit more pronounced in its flavor. So those lactic notes that you get and the slight lemonness, and then like James said, that bit of savouriness, it's there, but it's not doing a huge amount, in my opinion.
There's also a slight chemical note towards the end of this as well.
I don't know if that's what I'm getting with the sourness, like you say, that little
chemical sour note towards the end.
The texture, by the way, is fantastic.
It's beautiful texture. Yeah.
Coats your mouth beautifully.
Yeah.
And it breaks down lovely. Lovely every time, Cara.
I know. I know.
So
yeah,
let's go for
I think,
it.
yeah,
So
on the flavour, James, like you say, it's a bit muted.
I think, as you said, muted is a good word. Slightly muted.
Maybe we go for scoring, guys.
Appearance-wise, it's nice looking, but like James said, I would expect to see more on the externals than there is.
To be entered into such a competition, I would have liked to have seen this cheese with more rind action.
So for me, I'd probably say I'm around 7 or 8.
7. I think it's a 7, maybe 7.5 actually, Jonathan.
Yeah, let's go 7.5.
Yeah.
Aroma, chaps.
It's nice. I don't feel there's anything pronounced in the aroma, but it has a nice smell to it. For me, I'll probably thinking
well, that digested biscuit note,
which I like. I'd say maybe around the 8.59.
8.5.
Yeah.
Texture.
I think the texture for me has got to be a 10. Yeah.
And finally, flavour.
I mean, again,
7.
I like the flavors you're getting, but I would expect more. And I would say it's quite like we used the word muted again, I think. So for me, yeah, I'd say 7, 7.5. If you want to go 7, James, let's go 7.
7, yeah.
Thank you, chaps. Moving on to our next cheese, which is J21115.
This one looks familiar. Again, a little bit of that sort of Penicillium Roquefort on the top, some spots around the side. Again, when you look at it as well, I think we've talked about this before, James, haven't we, about maybe the turning, because it is a little bit stumpier at the bottom. And as you can see on James's one, the halo sort of stops towards the top. So that would make you think that maybe it's not been turned as often.
Which is possibly the way that this person is making the cheese.
Well, and that's it, exactly. It's not to say that that's wrong. It's just, like you say, that's just how we see it. But it could be, like you say, how the person wants the cheese to be. Cuts nicely. I think it's got a nice smell to it. You definitely get that sort of that mold smell on the outside, which is nice. And then inside smells quite clean.
What are you saying on the smell, James?
It's a slight ammonia to it. It's fairly fresh. What I'd expect is nothing. I've got a kind of a nice glass of milk freshness in the center paste. On the rind, I get the touch of fungal, like mushroomy notes, and a touch of ammonia. That's what I'm getting on the nose. As far as the texture is concerned, the smell
Quite
is
happy on the rind again.
It's very pappy on the rind, yeah. which unfortunately detracts from the overall experience of the cheese as you're biting, as you're enjoying it in the mouth.
The paste itself's quite a nice texture, and
Yeah.
it coats your mouth quite nicely. But the rind, like James said, detracts from that, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then
very
if I
salty,
go,
very salty.
yeah, incredibly salty. So the taste is really, really salty for me, which takes away from the flavour. There's a touch of goatiness to it, but unfortunately, it's not delivering.
No,
as a
you kind of
result.
you're very much left with that salty flavour.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, and it didn't bring any balance to it. I think there's not enough of that farminess or that light, bright acidity to balance that amount of salt, unfortunately.
So as far as the look is concerned, I'm thinking it's going to be a 7, 8.
I'm happy with an 8, yeah.
Yeah. Texture, aroma.
Again, the texture is very nice apart from the rind, so I'll be maybe around the same again. 8.
7, 8. 8 for the texture and for the aroma.
I'll give it a 9 for aroma. I don't think the aroma's bad. I think it's got some nice elements to it.
Can we go 8.5?
Yeah.
And overall taste, I'm going to give it a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I'd be around the 6, 7 mark. I think maybe we'll sit. Let's go. Should we go 7?
Yep.
Because there are some nice elements, but it's just that salt just takes over everything, doesn't it?
I think I'd like to see this worked a little bit more. Whoever's making this, I think this could be something quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But I think we need to, the recipe might need tweaking slightly.
Hey guys, sorry, I didn't get a score for texture out of you on that one.
We gave it an 8, didn't we? 8, wasn't it? Yeah.
I've got appearance 8, aroma
No,
8.5.
No, we gave a 7 on texture.
Oh no, 7 for texture. So yeah, then it was 8.5, wasn't it? And then
I'm recapping this for you. Appearance 8, aroma 8.5, texture 7, and flavour 7.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are moving on to J21116. Ooh.
I would say we can see that this has been pierced, I would say.
Definitely.
So
it's a pyramid with the top cut off, so it's not quite a pyramid.
I'm going to go against James's accurate cutting. I'm cutting straight through the middle for the sake of the viewers.
Oh, wow.
And as you can see, so actually I cut this differently this time, and you can see the 6 pins where it's been pierced. And you can see the little bit of bluing that's starting to happen at points from that. And you can also see the core, that where it's broken down more and you've got the slightly chalkier core. So I think appearance-wise, it's very interesting. I quite like
straight in and give it a taste. The look is. I'm going to give it a smell. Sorry. So I love the way it looks. The aroma is good. It's clean. It's fresh. It's got some goaty, farmy notes.
Yeah, I actually think that aroma on the rind is really lovely, isn't it? As well.
Texture-wise, chaps?
Texture is great. The rind transitions nicely into the paste. It's very interesting. As you can see, there's also been inside there. There's some of the inside here where my knife is. There's some of the Penicillium candidum that's in there. It's really interesting to see some of the white mold that's actually been able to get in there as well.
Very smooth in texture. You can see from that definition that where it's broken down more, you'd expect it to be smooth, and it actually is. It's kind of, it's doing what it shows you
hold
to
it
do.
up again, Jonathan, please. Looks like a tap, doesn't it? A faucet.
Camel.
And you get that slight chalkiness where that tap shape is. But like James said, that transition from the rind to the middle of the cheese is actually very, very smooth and nicely done.
I think we need to talk about the salt. The salt's fairly high on it.
It is, yeah.
I've tasted a similar cheese to this at some point, and not quite as high in salt.
Yeah, and I feel like it takes away it almost that sometimes detracts away from that the sort of you get a nice bit of farminess in there and like that bright that sort of goatiness. This level of salt is detracting ever so slightly from it.
Okay, so let's score it. I think on look it's 10. Appearance is 10 for me. On
I agree.
texture,
I think it looks
Can we
great.
go aroma, James?
so aroma. Sorry, I always bypass. I think the aroma is delicious. I think it's a really nice aroma. It's fresh. It's fungal. It's goaty. It's got everything going on.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's got that nice, like you say, that earthiness on the rind. So hard to really mark it down. I think.
10.
Yeah.
Texture's a 10 for me.
Yeah,
Love
it's
the
very
texture.
different, and that I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean I love the fact that it's texturally very different to pretty much any goat cheese I've had before from a point of view of how it's been done. I really like that.
It reminds me of a Tom, a very young Tom.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think the
Where
texture.
you, yeah.
Oh, go on, sorry, James.
No, as you say, you go.
I'll say I think the thing I like the most is the transition through the appearance of the cheese. You know, you can see the different textures. That transition's really lovely, and you're not like before the pappiness you've had on some of the other ones. You're not getting that at all. I think it's nice. It's a nice transition. So yeah, I think a 10 for texture.
What about flavour?
So the flavour for me is outweighed by the salt, sadly, on this. There are flavours of both coming through, and there are some mushroom notes. It's not a lost leader at all.
No.
It needs to be refined a little more as far as we need to refine the amount of, consider the amount of salt that's being used. I understand with the age and it's going to become denser and it needs to be utilized, but maybe can be dropped a little bit.
Because you can taste, like you say, James, you can taste the bits you want to taste from this style of cheese, but they are just, the salt is a little bit taken away from all that. So no, I agree. I think, what do you think, like an 8 maybe?
Yeah.
8, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you, chaps. Okay, we are moving on to J21140. Oh, hello.
So this is a goat's pyramid. Nice vermiculation on the outside, which is relatively full and all over. So there's a bit of transit damage, which is to be expected by such a soft cheese as well. So I'm not going to mark that down. Overall presentation, given gravity is one of the marking points on such a cheese, I think I'm quite happy to give this a 10 on appearance.
Yeah, I think it's got a nice bit of give to it. You know, when you pick it up, it's got a little bit of slip, but in a really good way. And I think it's, you know, that little bit of give makes me think it's going to be quite nice texturally.
Yeah, I'm happy with a 10. Are you?
Yeah, I'm happy with a 10. Like you say, the little bits that don't look right will just be from it being in transit, and there's nothing you can do about that. But I think it looks like a lovely cheese. I mean, it's cutting fantastically well.
Okay, so there's a cut piece there. Looking pretty awesome. Quite excited as well.
I am as well. The texture feels phenomenal. It feels almost like, you know, like that sort of firm mascarpone sort of texture. Smells lovely as well. The paste smells phenomenal. It's got that lovely sort of well, again, the expectation that we want from a goat cheese: lactic, bright, creamy, little bit of savory, which I think is always quite exciting when you smell that in a goat's cheese. The texture on that, man, is.
This is why I do my job.
Well, could you get to eat loads of cheese? That is
absolutely beautiful.
Little bit of biscuitiness, like that lovely light, bright milk
on every level. On every
well
level,
balanced. You get the salt, but it's perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
Mm.
The acidity, the creaminess, everything about that cheese is absolutely beautiful. It's long lasting. The salt's just right. Whoever made
And if
this,
you can
they've done a
see,
good job.
there's a tiny little bit of that halo that we've talked about before where it breaks down to the rind. And it's the perfect thing to give a slight differentiation in texture. And at the end of the flavor, you get this little bit of farminess. It's not intense, not strong. It's almost just there to be a reminder, you know, this is made by our own herd. This is made by hand. You get just like a little bit of a twinge at the end, which is fantastic. That's a
Okay,
beautiful
well,
cheese.
I'm going to be. I think we've spoken about how it looks, how it tastes, how it smells, um, uh, everything, the texture. I think we've
James, I
done
think
it
we can
all.
make this easy for Cara and just say
Quadruple 10.
tens across the board. Absolutely.
Golden
I
nugget. Fantastic,
don't think there needs
guys.
to be a discussion about each one because it's just fantastic.
You don't need to waste time on that. It's such a good cheese.
The texture is just unreal.
I'd like to know who makes this because it's delicious.
Okay. Just going to quote you guys. Texture. It's just unreal. Boom. Okay. Next cheese is J21176, please, chaps.
1176.
Give us a smile, Crafty. Thanks, man. You can take pictures of me as well and put them onto your Instagram. It's fine.
I
know
took
you've
one
got
of you
more
earlier,
followers than me.
but you could send me that one. Oh no, actually, there's no point actually because that's got me in it.
Exactly the point.
Where are we on? Which one on that one? 1176.
1176, please, Mr. Grant.
Why, aye, pets. Why, aye, pets. Okay, this is a hard one.
So I would say, I would say that shape-wise, you'd imagine that this is sort of that sort of dome shape that's drained in a colander.
It's very similar to a chowder.
A
Gouda.
chowder.
Yeah, Gouda, yeah.
Smells
fudge.
lovely.
Amazing rind smell as well. The lovely action that's going on there. You've got some chrysosporium. You've got some beautiful bee linens on the outside of that, very back, and you've got some great funky molds going on the outside
It's
of
got
that
almost
cheese.
a little bit of like seaweedy smell to it.
Bit of seaweed, possibly, maybe from Blackpool.
No, I just mean the smell. You're not like if in, there's no seaweed in Blackpool. There's lots of other things in the water, but no seaweed. And the paste got that lovely sort of sweetness, that sort of Gouda sweetness, and oh yeah.
Fudge. Okay, so the appearance is perfect. 10 for that.
What do you mean by perfect, James?
It's beautifully mottled. The flora, the molds that have been engendered and the yeasts engendered on that has been well looked after. It's flat. It's well taken care of. And if you cut into the inside of the cheese, it's seamless. It's perfect. It's 10.
And I feel like as a whole cheese, it would be beautiful. I feel like it would have that look where everyone will be like, oh my God, that's phenomenal because it's got, you know, the shape of it you can see just from this one wedge. And like James said, that mottling, that different color, it just looks lovely. Aroma-wise, again, really interesting on the rind. Earthy, like, again, sort of seaweedy. And then the paste has got a sweet element to it, a milky element to it. Lovely smelling cheese. A lot of bitterness on that. A lot of bitterness on that rind.
That's fine.
Which no, I don't. I wasn't saying it in a negative way.
So I'm getting an upfront on the nose. I'm getting a kind of savoury, fudgy nose. On the
Is that the paste?
Yeah, savoury. on the paste. It's quite savoury umami on the rind to smell, but then more of a fudgy, caramelly smell to the paste underneath. As far as the texture is concerned, it's got a lovely, smooth, almost kind of chocolate fondant breakdown fondant note to it, which is quite delicious. As a texture. As far as the overall taste of the cheese is concerned, for me, I'm getting it's a very, very lovely cheese. I'm getting some chicken broth sweetness to it as well, umami chicken broth notes. I'm feeling that there's a bit more of a salinity than I'd like, a little bit more salt, kind of doesn't polish it off at the end as nicely as it could do.
It could have a smoother finish. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I on that basis, I think on appearance 10, on aroma 10, on texture 10 for me. I'm going back to you in a second, mate. And as far as taste is concerned, I'm looking at about 8.5.
Completely agree. I think appearance is a 10. I think it's a beautiful looking cheese. I think it's got lots of character and lots of interest. I think there's so much going on, especially on that rind. Aroma wise, again, I have to give it a 10. I'm with James on that. I think the different nose between the paste and the rind is really interesting. I love that sort of sweet fudgy smell you get from it as well, and then on the rind you get that real sort of like I can't get away from that sort of salty seaweed smell, which I think is fantastic. Texturally, I'd be interested in how old this cheese is, because I think texturally it's a little bit dry, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
I think you're looking at about 18, 19 months.
Yeah, so I feel like, given that, if that's the age, I think you probably, it's not unexpected. It's not unexpected to be a bit drier anyway. But very smooth, and like breaks down your mouth really nicely. So I'm happy to go with James for a 10 on that as well. I would have been about a 9.5, but I'm happy to go with 10 because I do think it's really lovely. You're right, Cara.
No, something's gone a little bit funny on my sheet. Can you just call out the number of the cheese again for me?
We are
1176.
1176, yeah.
Oh, my water tastes amazing.
That's because it's been purified by ultraviolet lights, James.
As it happens, it's just happened then. I'll show everybody. Look, ultraviolet light.
Jeez.
Thanks. Right. Oh gosh, what is happening here?
We could all sing a song if you like. Is there any cheese songs you
know? Tell a cheese joke, James.
Can you repeat the number of the cheese, please, Crafty, for me?
It is 1176.
1176. Okay, and we are scoring it.
One went off in the cheese factory. Guess what happened? There was debris everywhere.
Oh God, honestly.
Okay, guys, really sorry. Can we go with the scores for that one again? Then I think
so. We were 10s. We'd got up to texture 10s for 10, 10, 10, and we were just going to discuss flavor.
Which I think you said was 8.5.
I did, yeah.
I'm happy to go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Splendid. Splendid.
Nice. Then we're going on to J21187, please.
The penultimate cheese.
Penultimate. Ooh.
Okay, so you can probably see a little bit sticky on the outside, which you'd expect probably from a cheese that's, I'd say, we've said this before, it's quite a young cheese. Look at the balance there. Wow.
I used to be really good at the egg and spoon.
I'd have dropped that by now. I mean, it looks like a nice cheese, very firm to cut. So I think, like James has said previously, quite a young cheese. And with that, I still think the outside is still quite pasty from an appearance point of view. The inside is lovely and clear white. I don't know, clear white doesn't make sense, but lovely crystal, like
I
a
mean,
white
bright
color,
white.
beautiful, clean. Texturally quite dry. But again, from this age of cheese, you'd kind of expect that really. Quite sweet in flavour. A lot of sweetness. And I think we've tasted this cheese earlier on, if I'm allowed to say that.
No.
Oh, we haven't tasted this cheese. But it has, yeah, it's definitely got a sweetness there. Are you getting that, James?
I am.
Kind of sweetness, guys.
It's more than a milky sweet. Like when you have a young goat's cheese, you'd expect to get maybe a bit of sweetness from the milk, but I feel like this is almost
Sweetness.
it's almost sugar sweet.
It's a citrus sweetness.
Yeah, but I feel like it's richer than a citrus sweetness. I feel like I'm getting it more, like I say, more like a sugar sweet, and
Glucose.
I'm not getting much of that citrus flavor. I'm not
Glucose.
getting glucose. Yeah, and yeah, glucose. Sorry, yeah, true. But I'm not getting much of the citrus flavor. Are you, James? I don't get much of that lightness, that sort of like nice little like citrus acidity.
It's very dense.
It is, yeah.
Dense, sugary, goaty, nicely.
Yeah.
Rind smell is nice, slightly doughy on the rind. I just smell like bakery, yeasty, doughy
Yeah.
notes on the rind, leading to a full paste of denseness, which is quite dry on the palate, but
Yeah.
coats quite nicely with an acidity that is sugary sweet, almost glucose-like,
Yeah.
with a relatively long palate,
Oh, still going.
but ending on, yeah, it's a relatively kind of grapefruit finish for me, grapefruit acidity.
Yeah, that sort of dry acidity. I know what you
Pink
mean. Yeah.
grapefruit. I'm talking about the sweeter pink grapefruit acidity
Yeah.
at the very end. It's a nice little example of a Cotin style cheese.
It is, yeah. I think the dryness, I think I'd like it to be a little bit less dry, I think. Even for that style of cheese, I feel like it could be a little bit less dry. The flavor's nice. Again, I'm not sure about the sweetness. So appearance, what do you think score-wise, James?
10.
10?
Yeah. Nothing wrong with the appearance. In my
Well, we're gonna get into this
opinion.
conversation, aren't we?
Well,
Yeah,
let's
but
have your
I
side
don't-
of the conversation then.
I feel like
why wouldn't it be a 10?
because even though it's this style of cheese, I feel like that sort of doughy tastiness on the outside.
We're talking about appearance. You can't see doughy pastiness. You can smell it.
If I look at this, it looks like it's almost got like a pasty exterior. I mean it as in like the stickiness, that pastiness to it.
But you can't see sticky. You can texturize that.
Of course, you can see sticky. You tell me you don't look at that cheese and see that it's going to be sticky before you pick it up.
Not always.
Oh, mate, behave. 100%. I would be happy to go 9.5 with you.
I go 10, so 9.75, please, Cara.
Okay. And we're going for aroma, chaps.
I quite like the smell of it. I think it's for a young cheese. It's got a good amount of nose on it. What do you think, James?
Yeah, same.
What do you think? 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the texture is concerned, go on, Jonathan.
A little bit dry for me. As much as I know a young sort of croton style cheese would have that dryness, I feel like it's a little bit too dry for me. So
Okay, I think it's dry as well, yeah.
I would go for 8.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Finally, flavour, please, guys.
Flavor.
Wait.
I think it was nice. I think the sweetness is maybe there's a bit too much sweetness for me. If in this style of cheese, I'd expect it to be a bit more acidic and have a bit more of that sort of citric element to it. But it wasn't bad. I just feel like it wasn't necessarily representative of what I'd expect from that sort of young crottin style cheese. What did you think, James? I feel like James is annoyed with me again, Cara.
No, I'm just thinking. It's my pensive look. I do believe it delivers a good amount of flavour. It could be a little brighter in the flavour.
Yeah.
I think given that's the case, that we're looking at between an 8 and an 8.5.
Yeah. I'm happy. Do you want to go? Where do you want to go, James? I'm happy with either.
8.5. Perfect.
Being very generous today, guys. Okie dokie. We are sadly.
I'm scared of
onto-
upsetting James, so I can't really not be.
Oh, come on. You'll kiss and make up. It doesn't matter in the end. This is our final cheese of the day, and what a lovely one to end on.
It's a really interesting shape, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is J21189.
It's a very interesting looking cheese.
It really
It's the
is.
sort of cheese I'd like to take to a market and sell lots of.
Yeah. I think you'd get so many people just interested in it just because it's an unusual shape, wouldn't you?
It's got a lovely down of white mold. It feels quite firm to the touch.
Would you say it's been ashed, James?
I do believe there may be some ash there, and then they've allowed the they've lowered the temperature to allow the candidum to grow again on the outside.
Yeah.
Or they didn't, or they just ashed it, and it was within a temperature that it grew through the grew through the ash.
Because you can see the edge. You can see the ash mainly on the rims of the shape of the cheese, but then when you cut it, you can see it. Beth, you can see
On
the
the
ash,
what?
Oh,
the
wow.
rim. And but then when you cut it, you can see it on the interior. And actually, it's a lovely example of a halo, isn't it?
Beautiful halo.
Halo, halo. Is there a song?
Yeah. What's her name? Beyonce.
Beyonce. Halo. Yes, we sing that.
I think
Yeah.
it's best for everyone that we don't.
This is the last one. We've got to make fun.
We've had
Right.
fun all morning.
Oh
think it's
my
got a lovely
goodness,
smell to it.
no. It's almost opaque, the halo, as it's been broken down. It's almost opaque, isn't it? Can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, wow.
If you were to put a light behind that halo, I'm sure you'd get some light coming through.
James, that's almost
Really beautiful looking cheese.
the flavor's almost mint, got like a minty element to it, like a herbaceous minty element to it.
Like Kendall mint cake.
God, no.
It's not a million miles from you, Kendall, though, is it?
It really has, isn't it? But not in like a mouthwash way. It's this really like really interesting.
Wow.
It's mad, isn't it? I love it.
Okay, so all I've got so far on flavour, guys, it has a herbaceous minty note. And wow,
Do you want
wow,
more?
wow, ooh, ah,
Yeah, just
ooh,
put
ah.
wow, 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 and lovely.
Wow, wow, wow.
It's got that lactic element you'd expect from a goat's cheese. I'd say it's got a nice amount of milkiness in there. I get away from that minty element. That's mad.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, that kind of lactic, gentle, minty note
Yeah.
that I'm getting. It's a very interesting cheese. It's a cheese. It's a wine cheese for me. It's a cheese that I would definitely have to have a glass of wine with.
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Yeah, I agree. I think something with something like that, it would be lovely. And I think you'd really you get the right pairing, and it would bring out the flavors in the cheese even more.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with it though. Really interesting.
How impressed?
I'm going to use the word mightily. I think appearance is fantastic. I think if you look at, I've not seen a cheese that shape before. Not in this country.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's got so much intrigue about it, and it's the sort of thing I think you would definitely have people wanting to talk to you about because how it looks. I can't see, and again, the appearance when we cut into it, that halo is just like beautiful,
Beautiful.
and the color, and like you said, that opaqueness, James, is fantastic. So for me, I can't give it anything less than a 10 for appearance.
Okay, 10.
We didn't actually put any notes on the aroma, guys.
Oh, sorry. A lot of cleanliness, like that really lovely clean smell.
There's a touch of ammonia.
But would you expect that, James, with this sort of cheese?
Yes. Yes. Slightly fungal.
Well,
It's like going
James, we
into
talk about the cheese, not your feet.
okay, it's like walking in a forest near the roots of an oak tree as it's slightly damp.
It's just been raining.
Yeah.
No, it's after the rain, and as the
The
heat
dew the
passes,
morning after.
yeah, as the moisture is rising, I'm getting hit with the smell of the forest floor and the mushrooms.
I think you definitely get that nice sort of bright,
That's what I'm getting.
clean, milky smell from the paste as well.
Divine. 10.
Jonathan, are you in agreement?
Yes, indeed.
High five, John. Well done, mate.
Okay.
I think texturally, we go back to that sort of that journey from the rind through to the middle, and I think again it's a nice, smooth transition. You're not getting any of that pappiness that we've had in other cheeses. I definitely think you really do experience the different textures that you can see in the cheese, which I think is fantastic. So yeah, for me, again, I can't really mark it down on texture.
James?
10.
Okay, and finally, that wonderful, gentle, herbaceous, minty notes in the flavour.
It's interesting, isn't it, James? Because for me, when it comes to food, I find mint to be quite divisive. And if people do something mint flavored, there's always a lot of time it can be overpowering and quite strong. But I actually find it really pleasant in this because it's that
It's very nice.
yeah, and
My
it's
only
that herbaceous element. It's not like a fake mint taste of it. It's just a nice sort of hum.
my only pausing point on this cheese is the salt again.
Do you think? See, I get the salt, but I feel like it balances quite nice. I don't think it's too intensely salty. I get what you mean. I definitely get, like you say, a higher level of salinity, but I don't feel like it detracts from the rest of the cheese.
It's
But I
definitely
do
got
under
those pear drops, boiled
yeah.
pear drop sweets. It
On
will
the
go
paste,
really
guys.
beautifully well with the Gewürztraminer.
What do you think, flavor wise?
9.
Would you be happy to move to 9.5 for me?
Yes.
I love you.
Don't let everybody know that.
Too late.
Weirdly, guys, I'm sorry, but that's no secret.
Good.
Okay. So we had one cheese that was totally banging, boom, 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 golden buzzer. And then you've had the cheese that you just tasted.
I would like, if James is in agreement,
Yes, put them both in for God's sake.
Yeah, just because I feel like this is something really unusual, and I feel like it'd be nice to see what other people think of it.
Thank you very, very much, chaps.
No, it's been our pleasure, Cara.
We're 4 minutes before we're due to finish.
I
Which
know,
is impressive
so
considering
be
where we
quiet for
were.
1 second and let me finish this one. The two cheeses going through to the category final from the J2 class are J21140 and
It's a smile.
J21189.
It's a smile now. Thank you.
We'd like to thank Butlers for sponsoring our lovely pennies again this year.
Butler's cheese.
To the
Butler's cheese.
wonderful, wonderful Millers for becoming the VCA cracker sponsor. We are so delighted to have you on board. James and Crafty, what can I say? Have you made this hard work or have you made it hysterical? I'm not quite sure. It's been an absolute pleasure judging with you. Thank you so much. To everybody who's watching, these two amazing cheeses will go through to the final, to the category finals on Tuesday, the 10th of June, and our grand final on Wednesday, the 11th, will follow when we will reveal the British cheese industry's incredible, talented, and passionate people as well. Hello, James.
I just said, when you said we're about to push these two incredible, I thought you were going to say people, Jonathan.
I literally thought you were going to say us. Yeah.
We'd be up for that, but I don't think our wives would like us to be cut up and eaten.
Can I also just say that the goat's cheese in general that we've tasted has been phenomenal. Like the standard has been exceptional. So to all the cheesemakers who have entered into these categories, like amazing work.
Can I also just say the Baha and Maha, there was one of the sheeps as well. It was pretty good, wasn't it?
I think all the cheeses today have been absolutely phenomenal. So thank you to all the cheesemakers who've entered, making it so difficult for these two magnificent beasties to try and judge. And on that note, I'm going to leave it. See you all soon, and thank you, and good luck to the cheesemakers.
Bye.
Cheers, good luck, everybody.